Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 1083 of One Piece. So yeah, we have Ryukugyu defeated? Like, I mean, he wasn't really defeated per se. He was just spooked away by Shanks. Um, Shanks had sensed that he was, causing trouble and was going after Luffy and everything. And he's like, not gonna work for me. You really that scared of the new generation? Well, fuck you. I'm gonna use my color of the Supreme King to rein you in. Um, Shanks's color of the Supreme King is so strong and so directed, he was able to specifically lead it towards Ryukugyu. Although the initial burst did affect the newer members on his ship. Ryukugyu tried to resist it, but eventually did fall to its power and fled. And apparently, Luffy and them also knew that shit was going down. They let the Akazaya Samurai and Yamato and all them handle the first threat. And when they felt the second burst of haki from Shanks, Luffy seemed to know that it was him. He directly said it reminded him of someone from long ago and smiled, and it's like he knew it was Shanks. But I believe I said this last time. We see that Luffy has matured enough to know that it's not the time to meet up with him yet. Luffy pre-time skip would have just ran. He would have tried to find him, tried to get to him as quickly as possible. But he has matured, surprisingly, at least in some aspects, and enough to the point where he knows it's not the time yet. So even though it's clear that he knows it's Shanks, he also knows that, yeah, it's not the right time to meet up with him. Shanks isn't going to come here. That's why he used his haki from far away, which I think everyone was able to tell. And yeah, it's a meeting still in the future. And we'll see how that goes when we get to that. But in the meantime, we also learned a bit about the history of Wano, and that the ancient weapon Pluton is beneath Wano. And if Wano is released, if it is opened up in terms of its borders, then that will mean the destruction of the walls surrounding the lower parts of the country, the old Wano architecture that is currently under rainwater. And that will mean unleashing Pluton onto the world once again. Now, obviously, not necessarily unleashing it instantly when that happens, but it will be able to be unleashed. The walls are kind of keeping it in check right now. So, yeah, pretty interesting. And now it's just a matter of what's going to happen next. What else are we going to see as we close out this arc and just get shots of everything else going around the world? It's going to be interesting to see what more is touched on. And then we're gonna, in just a few episodes, be going on to the final saga with the next arc. So yeah, I'm excited for that. And I'm hoping that what we get ends up being pretty fantastic. So, let's just get to the episode and see what we have in store. So when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades to black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. That caught me off guard, actually. I didn't realize the episode was that close to ending. Like, I knew there was the mid-card earlier on, but it's like, I don't know, it just didn't click with me. It just felt like it went by really fast. So, this episode focuses a lot more on just the aftermath of stuff, not really, like, huge moments. We have the other characters learning about some of the revelations that we've seen in the previous couple episodes, such as Momo and Hiyori finding out that that Tengu is their grandfather, and we see that all of the Akazaya 9 except for Kinemon, because of course except for Kinemon, realized that he was someone important and, like, you know, big, but they didn't exactly know it was Sukiyaki. They just knew he was, like, a big deal because of the Tengu mask being out of season and most of the time and all. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting in and of itself. We have the rest of the Straw Hat crew and everyone finding out about Pluton. We have just all this news kind of spreading about. And we get another big piece of information. Buggy has apparently aligned himself with Crocodile and Mihawk to form the Cross Guild, an organization that is putting bounties out on the Marines. Now, it's completely unclear as of the moment how Buggy managed to get those two to work with him. Especially if he became the Emperor of the Sea because of this. Like, if he was the Emperor of the Sea and then got them to work with him, that would be one thing. But they were both in Marineford, so I think they both know how much of an idiot Buggy is. Plus, just being around him for any length of time, they'd figure that out. I don't know why they would work with him. Like, even with knowing, like, his connections to Shanks and Roger's crew and everything, it's like there's not really any reason, like, anything that working with him would bring to them, right? Like, that connection wouldn't benefit them at all. So, why would they work with him? I don't understand that part yet. Hopefully we'll get our answers. But I don't know. Like I said, the only thing I knew about the Cross Guild was its existence. I knew that the Cross Guild was a thing. That it was Buggy, Mihawk, and Crocodile. That's it. I didn't know that they had the bounties on the Marines. I don't know, like, what their reasoning for working with Buggy is. I don't know. So we find that out, though. We see that Luffy, Law, and Kid are deciding to go separate ways. And while Law figures out first, like, which direction he's going to go in, the other two basically draw lots to determine it. And Luffy gets the one that nobody wanted, basically. So, yeah. Momo is having to kind of deal with all of the responsibility of being the Shogun, and he's handling it well. He's handling it about as well as he possibly could at this moment. But it's clear that he still wants to mostly just hang out with and see his friends, you know? The Straw Hats. But he can't find them anywhere, and that leads to him talking to Kinemon and eventually finding Yamato to try and find out anything possible. So, yeah. It looks like the Straw Hats were prepared to leave without telling Kinemon and Momo, though they did seemingly tell everyone else. So Raizo and Shinobu had to recover from being sucked dry by Ryukugyu. And after the fact, due to, just the obvious shit that would come with that, Shinobu is thinner again and more stereotypically pretty. Um, which makes it pretty clear that her physical appearance, being seen as unattractive, was purely based on her weight. That her quote unquote unattractiveness in terms of facial features and stuff was based on her weight. Um, and I'm going to say here right now, and I'm standing by this. Shinobu, no matter what she ends up looking like, is absolutely beautiful and stunning, and anyone who says otherwise can fight me. Like, I will do everything in my power to fuck you up if you insult her. Like, I stand by that, no matter whether in her larger form or her current form now. Shinobu is absolutely stunningly beautiful, and I will actively go after anyone who says otherwise. Um, so yeah, I'm very like fiercely protective over her, and she's definitely amongst my favorites in Wano. Um, it's just it's something that really irritates me. I've seen supposed One Piece fans post shit on social media, like showing off a bunch of like the stereotypically pretty hot girls in this series, and then like showing Shinobu as like what happened Oda and everything. It's like every time I see that shit, like I get like in a very bad place, let's put it that way. I am not in a good place when I see that kind of shit, because I deal with shit like that. I've dealt with a lot of fat phobia and just, not being seen as, because of my looks, not being seen to be in the same like conversation when talking about girls. And so it's like I tend to be pretty protective over her because I've felt that shit. And it's clear it doesn't really bother her as much. The most she will do is get angry and attack people. Which, I mean, kudos to her, definitely having that confidence to do so. But I get really like livid when I see people insult her like that. It's not okay. Like, there's characters you can fucking insult like that. Like Big Mom, fuck her. It's like if you want to insult someone for their looks and all, at least have it be a bad character, like a terrible character. Someone who we don't give a shit if you insult, because fuck her anyway. Like, no one, like, we don't give a shit about Big Mom. She's a absolute piece of shit. She might be dead currently, but we don't know for sure. But yeah, it's like, if you insult her, like, go straight ahead, but not Shinobu. Never Shinobu. Like, that's just not okay. You don't do that. So, the last thing, like, of really note is that we see Caribou finding out about Pluton and planning on telling someone. We don't know who it is. He just mentions telling someone about it, and knowing Caribou, that probably can't be good. Because Caribou is just a freaky weirdo who will work with anyone if it helps him. So I can imagine him working with someone pretty bad. Um, I have no real guesses as to who it could be because there's not really any hints or information that we get from Caribou that could tell us. But I'm interested to finding out. But yeah, we only have a few episodes left at this point before the new arc. We have 1084 and 1085, just literally 2 more episodes. And then 1086 starts the next arc, the first arc of the final saga. So, are we going to see the Cross Guild at all? Are we going to see other stuff going on around the world? I don't know. I don't know what we're going to see next. But whatever we see in these last couple episodes before the new arc, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for what's to come, and I hope that One Piece, as it goes into the final saga, continues to impress me and continues to be peak fiction. So tell me your thoughts down in the comments below, and for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.